And Alex, have you made me co-host yet? I got an affirmative.
Yes.
All right, we will start. Welcome to our first board meeting of 2023, March 14th. It is a Tuesday. Our typical time is 6 to 8 p.m. Welcome back to 2023. All except Anna are here. She had a family situation arise and did notify the secretary, or did notify us, and we have the secretary's report. So we will continue. We will begin the meeting at 6:01 p.m. Did you get it, Patty? Awesome. Okay. I know that our board members have seen the agenda. I will show it for just a moment. There's the agenda for this evening. This will be a rough draft of what we have for today's meeting. Anna's not here, so I will be sure to cover her part. That's really the only change. Everything else, I think, should be good to go. Anyone have any additions or corrections, or do we accept the agenda as read?
I'm sorry.
Move to approve the agenda.
Who motioned?
I didn't see a motion.
I didn't either.
Alex said stop sharing.
One moment.
Okay. Okay, Nicole.
Spotlight Nicole, please.
She said it looks good. The only addition would be Jessica's last name, but other than that, I think it looks fine with the agenda as it is.
And Steve is saying, okay, I'll make sure to add that. Thanks, Nicole. We'll make sure we have the full name for our board members. Anything else? Okay, so the agenda is approved. All those in favor of the approval of the agenda? Any opposed? Nicole, is that an opposition?
Nope, but I say the motion should carry.
Okay, great. Then we will move forward with our meeting. First item on the agenda, we have all of our board members here with the exception of Anna. So Anna, we do have a quorum. And the next item on the agenda, Patty had sent out the minutes from the previous board meeting that took place in December. Did you all have a chance to review those? Someone is indicating they've not read them yet.
No,
They are
work is
pretty much what we covered in December. Patty sent those out. If you found any errors or things that need to be corrected.
I just got off work, so I wasn't able to review them before the meeting tonight.
Okay, you can take a look real quickly at the secretary's report. Sharing that screen now. Okay. Does everything look all right? Nicole is asking what's being shown.
Rosemary's saying something about a blue link at the bottom.
Okay. Everyone all right with that? Patty? No, I think this is the wrong item. I was supposed to have shared the minutes. This was not the minutes. This is the secretary's report. My apologies.
Patty's saying, yeah, click on that. Yeah.
Asking for access. One moment. Board president access only, not Gmail access. So we need to change that so that the board has access. Okay, I will attempt to switch that out. One moment. And Alex is indicating that we should stop sharing. One moment. Now we have the meeting minutes on the screen. However, it needs to be magnified. Attempting to do that. One moment. Is that any better? Still pretty small.
This is Patty. If you click on the percentage, yeah, right there, you should be able to adjust it.
Is that better? Michelle is indicating yes, that is better. Give you a few minutes to review that. Okay, and I'm just taking a look at the motions and the critical items that are listed there. Vice President's report, we saw. Secretary's report. Treasurer's report. These are all the minutes from the December meeting. Many of the reports were basically vacant. There were no reports. It was a slow time of year. We did not have fundraising report and some of the others. We did have some discussion, which is indicated in the minutes. And that is basically our minutes from December. If you want to review that and provide a motion, Nicole? We need to stop sharing the screen.
Yeah, stop share, Nicole said, please. This is Nicole. Oh. Rosemary's saying, I need to pause the process. There is an issue with Zoom technology. Rosemary's checking with Nicole to make sure she can see. The voice is taking control of the videos, and that's what's controlling who we see. So I need Nicole and Pam to have their videos off, and Zoom will show those who are spotlighted, the deaf interpreter and Steve Longo. Right now, YouTube is not showing them. So the voice is controlling who's showing. And so we just need them off until we need them to interpret into ASL. Okay, so those who are not using ASL right now on video, just have their videos off, Alex is saying.
And spotlight Tracy, please. I'm sorry, there's a lot of movement.
Yep. This is
Nicole, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Nicole. The meeting in December, I had Patty send the minutes so that everyone could look over them and approve them. I would like to change the habit of, as soon as the meeting is done, have those minutes sent out. We get a thumbs up from everyone instead of them sitting there and labeled as draft. We want to be able to get those sent off to the state. And so we also want it to be part of the quarterly report and annual report. And it would look better if we as a board could make sure that those were approved right after the meeting. So that way DHHSC can do what they need to do with their reporting. And if I remember correctly, I believe it was approved. And I know that we just kind of ratify it or make it official here in the meeting. But if we could make an effort to, following the meeting, when the minutes are sent out, that each of the board members goes ahead and takes a look
Michelle's
at
saying thank you
as needed.
And Steve is indicating, Nicole, I think that's a great point. I like that idea. If we complete our board meetings within that week or two at the most, if you would send out a draft of those minutes to everybody, once those are revised, edited, approved, then we can take care of that right away, and that can be officially ratified in the following board meeting. And then we are also not spending time during the board meeting reviewing the minutes. So that is taken care of right away.
And it also supports DHHSC's reporting and make sure that it's not labeled as draft, that it is an official version of the minutes.
Excellent point. I like that. And it appears that we have consensus and everyone is in agreement with that. For now, for tonight, we do need to officially vote on the minutes. So if I could have approval, Nicole?
I move that we approve the minutes from the December meeting.
And do I have a second? Jamie?
Yep, I second.
Have a second with Jamie?
I second that motion.
All right. And Christian and Jessica and others, do we have approval? Thumbs up.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, wonderful. So those meeting minutes are approved and we can move on. One moment.
We're going to switch the interpreters. Hang on just a moment.
Next, we will go to the auditor's report. Luis is here. Hello. Luis, you have the floor now, sir. And who will be interpreting? That will be Nikki. She's on the screen.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. Will I be sharing the screen or somebody's driving?
Steve Longo saying, I don't have your report, so go ahead. If you have it, you can share it.
I don't have that with me. Luis, if you would like to make me co-host, whatever would be easiest, or Alex, if you could provide co-host abilities to Luis, that would be great.
Just make sure Rosemary's saying that if you want to show your screen, show it and then take it back down, but don't have it showing while you're talking. It makes it too difficult for communication.
Okay, that's going to be a little bit challenging.
And I'm sorry.
She's saying maybe have only one CDI on screen for the shadowing.
Okay, so we're trying to make adjustments here so that we can share the screen and make it visually accessible.
Okay, let me know when I'm ready to share.
Technology is wonderful.
Yes, go ahead, Luis.
Okay, well, thank you for having me here today. Before I share it, and it looks like I need to speak before I share. Just to kind of summarize the report before I share it, and that's on pages 1 through 3 of the financial statements provided. We conducted a financial statement audit of the organization's financial statement for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022. Based on our audit procedures, we determined that the financial statements were free of material misstatements. And so therefore we have issued what's called an unmodified opinion, which is the best opinion that you guys can get. In addition, because you guys expend over $750,000 of federal funds, you're required to go through an additional compliance audit related to the single audit or the uniform guidance, now what it's called. And so we've also determined that that's also an unmodified opinion. The CFA, the scheduled federal awards, is also free of material misstatements. In addition, we are related to the audit, we are required to report any significant deficiencies related to internal controls or compliance matters as a result of our audit. There were some challenges with the transition the last couple of years, but we have been able to work with staff to determine that nothing rises to the level of a reportable condition. And so on pages, we're required to report those on pages 15 and 16 and 17, 18, specifically with the single audit. And so you'll see that in those reports, we're not reporting any reportable conditions. So let me share the report. So that's our audit report again. As far as the numbers go.
One moment, Alex.
Thank you for your patience, Luis, as we figure out the spotlighting.
Nicole had suggested there be only one interpreter on the screen, either Rosemary or Nikki. But in order to hear Luis, it appears that it would need to be Nikki. But check in with Nicole. And Rosemary is asking, so we only want one interpreter on the screen? And Nicole is saying, I'm so sorry for the interruption, but I think it's much easier with just one interpreter on the screen. Just one deaf interpreter. I can see Nikki.
Steve Longo saying having Rosemary.
And Nicole is saying, I just want one interpreter on the screen. Okay, Luis. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So as far as the numbers go, on page 4, we have what's called the statement of financial position, or sometimes called the balance sheet in the private sector. Some of the highlights here is that the cash position and accounts receivables went up. The organization ended up with nearly 1.9 million in assets. Liabilities were approximately 225,000. And again, the highlight here is that the line of credit got paid off compared to the prior year. Total net assets equal nearly 1.7 million. Going into page 5, the statement of activities, or the profit and loss, if you will. The highlight here is that interpreting service income went up significantly, nearly 1.17 million. So the organization ended up with nearly 2.5 million in income and 2.145, or nearly 6 million. The change in net assets, or the net income, was nearly 337,000. That was a significant increase from last year. Last year it was nearly 168,000. So that was pretty good.
My apologies. Can you back up just a little bit? The 337,000. Can you say again what that was?
That was the change in net assets, or the net income.
Thank you.
And so again, net assets increased to 1.665 million. On the next page, we have the statement of cash flows, and it just converts the district's activity into cash flow activity by operating activities, finance activities, investing activities. And then on page 7, we have the statement of functional expenses, and that breaks down the the expenses by programs and then by natural account classification and expenses. And then on pages 8 through 14, we have the notes to the financial statements. So that provides some of the detail of to the numbers presented in the statement of financial position and the statement of activities. One note that I do want to highlight is note number 10, and that's liquidity and availability. And you guys, as part of our audit procedures, we're required to evaluate the organization's ability to continue in operations for the foreseeable future. That's one emphasis that's a little bit new this last couple of years, and you guys are in pretty good shape. Current financial assets are 1.353 million. Of that, 20,000 is restricted by donors, so you have 1.33 million available for current liabilities. And again, pages 15 and 16 is the report that I mentioned earlier, where we would report any reportable conditions related to internal controls or compliance, and internal controls or compliance related to the single audit. And so we determined that this year that was not necessary. This is your schedule of federal awards. And that is it as far as numbers. Any questions?
Steve Longo. Do you typically do an audit during the fall?
Yeah, I believe we used to do it around September through November. That's when it was typically done.
Michelle is indicating yes, that's correct. Thank you, Luis.
One thing that I do want to add is I do want to remind you that this year is our final year of our contract. So I think we actually last year was the final year, and we extended it 1 year just because of I believe you guys had some issues scheduling somebody new. So just kind of reminding you to start engaging a new firm so that you can have a smooth transition.
Michelle indicating thank you.
All right, well, thank you for having me again.
Michelle, you have the floor.
Nicole saying, I just want to say thank you for your time and going through the audit with us. I apologize about interrupting you at the beginning, and we appreciate your patience as we worked through the communication for the meeting. Thank you so much.
And Luis, I also want to tell you for your work over the last 2 years has been very difficult with Paul's passing and replacing staff, but now with Cindy, who is our accountant in-house, I think it is going to be smooth sailing moving forward. And I know it is time to look for a new auditor, but we have so appreciated working with you, and we will miss working with you very closely through some very difficult times. So once again, Luis, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It was a pleasure working with you. If you guys will be available to help with the transition. So if you have any questions, let us know.
Thank you. Will do, will do. Steve? As board president, and on behalf of our board, I want to thank you for all you have done for DHHSC. As Michelle has indicated, it's been some difficult years, but you have pulled us through and done an incredible job. And we look forward to the following year and our new adventure.
All righty, well, good luck and enjoy the rest of your meeting.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Take care. And give us a moment to switch out the deaf interpreters, please. Okay, and taking a look at the agenda, one moment. Okay, we have completed the auditor's report item on our agenda and very much appreciated his thoroughness and his straightforward approach and communication with us. Now we will move to the president's report, which I guess is me. I will show you my report very briefly, then add a few comments to that. So give me just a few moments to take care of that.
How you doing, Pam?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
If you can see that on your screen. Can you see that all right? Can I get some feedback? Yes? Okay. I'll just give you a couple of moments, a minute or so to review that on your own. And there's some discussion.
Asking about, should I have my video on or off?
One moment. Go ahead and Patty is just asking if I can leave my video on the screen or not. Is it okay, or should I? Close my video.
Steve Longo saying, just let me know when you're done looking at the president's report and I'll take it down.
All right, everyone. Okay, back to Steve. I'll take it off the screen, but Alex is saying I already have. Where did it go? I can't find it to close.
Alex is saying I took it down for you. I was trying to help you.
I didn't realize you had taken it off. Thanks, Alex. Oh, I thought it was automation, but it was really Alex behind the curtain. Okay, so in brief summary, the important things to note are the ad hoc, which Nicole will address a little further in her vice president's report. I don't need to review that again. And want to commend Nicole for getting started on that. We did a number of things. We set priorities because there are so many things that need to be done. So it's important. And we had a healthy discussion and set some priorities, which Nicole will share. So good job, Nicole, for that. In terms of board training, I just received news from Mark Apodaca, who is a certified parliamentarian trainer. And he is very well known throughout the United States and has done a lot of parliamentarian work for a number of organizations and provided training as well. He's quite busy, but I did approach him to see whether or not he could schedule in training for us, and has agreed to that and said we can probably work something out during the month of May. So as a board, we will have a discussion and select a time in the month of May. There are 3 separate trainings that we plan to be a part of. The first one is the nonprofit organization board governance role and responsibilities. That is a necessary training, so we know exactly what our responsibilities are, what our legal responsibilities are. The second training is the parliamentary procedure using Robert's Rules of Order, which is abbreviated RRO. Making motions, passing motions, 2/3 votes, majority votes, opposition, all of those things that are a part of a meeting will be involved in that training. And we have a fairly thick handbook here on that, but Mark will basically give us a synopsis of that and some of the most important details that we need to be aware of. The last training that we as a board will be engaged in is the financial management for non-profit organizations. And I think our staff will be involved with that as well, so that everyone is on board and that we as an organization are stable financially and are fiscally responsible. There are a number of nonprofits that are receiving training, and I believe that this would be very advantageous for us as well. And we will talk more about that, but I did want to share with you that that is good news, and we can look forward to that training likely during the month of May. The second item is the bylaws, and I believe Michelle was going to speak with the attorney to see whether or not they are okay. We may have been forgotten, whether they were put on the shelf, but would like to follow up and see where that is at. Thirdly, the donations. We have always had contributions from Giving Tuesday, and one of those events is the Amazon Smile. I really like that. I think a lot of contributions come from that. However, they announced that that was closed, and in finding out why, what we learned is there was not enough financial justification to be able to continue the Amazon Smile. My perspective was different. I thought we did great, but unfortunately that was closed, and that was about $600 that was given through the Amazon Smile program. So we now will have to look for a different resource or business wherewith to get contributions and donations to allow us to have that financial need met. The executive director evaluation we have not done for quite some time. And though that has not been completed, we have started, but we have not completed that. So that is something we need to do in order to be in compliance with nonprofit organizational policy. So we can do what is called a 360 eval or a 360 review, which wherein Michelle can provide feedback to the board as to her perspective of what is working, what is not working. And we as a board can learn how we can modify, improve. Oftentimes, when we look at things from our perspective, we're not able to see it all, but with this 360 review or 360 evaluation, that gives a more complete review. And so with that, I think we will be in good shape, and we will discuss and work more on that a little bit later. And that concludes my report. Are there any questions as they relate to my report? Seeing nothing?
This is Nicole. I'm not sure how to spell his last name, Mark. So I think it would be a really important training for us in terms of fundraising. If there's any training around fundraising, I think that would be a great topic to cover.
And I agree. I think that's good feedback. I will check on that. Calling on Jamie.
So when we're talking about May, is it going to be in person or on Zoom?
It will be in person.
It will be important.
I believe the first weekend of May. That first weekend.
And I won't be in town.
We can discuss the details of that a little bit later. Let's get through our reports for now, and we can discuss the details later.
I just wanted to let you know I'll be out of town.
Trying to figure out the best time. Any other questions? Okay, we will move then to the Vice President's report. Nicole, would you like me to share that on the screen, or? Nicole, one moment.
I
You
don't
want me
need
to
anything.
put that up?
Nope. I'll just. I'm okay with just sharing my report. I don't typically share anything.
All right.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I hope you're all handling the time change successfully. I know it's always a bit challenging as we have to adjust and lose an hour of sleep and all of that. Time has gone so quickly since December. I can't believe it's already March. And as Steve had mentioned, we will be having our first ad hoc session, or we had our first ad hoc session in January. It was a great meeting, and we covered a lot in 2 hours, and we realized that we really need to do it again, and it'll help us get caught up because there are so many little things that still need to be caught up on. And so many people have been sick. It's been hard to have meetings with staff. We want to gather information and have those full reports, etc. So we will be rescheduling. Once we have this board meeting, we can then talk about the best time and place to meet. But we really want to be able to get into the details of what we do. And so as chairperson, I will be prioritizing. So VDF will be first. Anna will also deal with that. I'm very excited to say. So Anna with Susan Coulter from DHHSC, she does a lot of the VDF planning. I'm having a hard time finger spelling tonight, but she works a lot with the VDF planning. So Susan and Anna will work together to coordinate VDF details. And we've already talked a little bit about fundraising, but there are more ideas, and I'm really excited because for the first time in a long time, we will have a fundraising report. So I feel like that's an achievement. I apologize. I forgot that Christian was with Jessica. And so we have chair people in the fundraising committee. So next time I will have both of you work on that report. So my apologies that I was not clear with that. So Jessica and Christian can meet with Michelle. Michelle is the one who obviously does the fundraising with the staff. And Jessica will talk more about how that meeting went a little bit later. Steve is a chairperson for board training, and I feel that is definitely needed. I'm excited to see that happening. We have 3 kind of in progress at the moment. I think those are 3 big wins for us, and I'm very proud of this board and seeing the accomplishments we are making.
Oh.
Okay, also, in talking with Susan Coulter from DHHSC, she also handles events like Martha's Vineyard, some of the bigger events. And she says that they are in dire need of volunteers. So I wanted to put it out there to the board to see if there was any interest. It'd be a great opportunity. The community will be there too. And that will be on March 25th. That is a Saturday, 8:30 to 4. And if you are interested and would like to help volunteer, please email Susan Coulter. Her email is susanc@dhhsc.org. And in other news, the 4 board meetings this year, we will be doing a staff spotlight towards the end of the meeting. There will be a variety of staff members who will come join the meeting and talk about their program and the services they provide so that we can understand a little bit more about what our staff do and know better how we can support them. And it also helps give us a real connection to DHHSC and the staff. So I'm excited for that. The first one will be tonight at 7:30. I think that's it for my report. Thank you. Back to you, Steve.
I do want to add to Nicole's report and information about Martha's Vineyard, commonly abbreviated as MV. Martha's Vineyard has been an important event for us. There is much of the history of ASL that is shared through that event. And the last time I believe we hosted that event
Last
in
year.
person.
Yep.
We did do it last year. I had forgotten. I'm sorry. But a few years ago, with the pandemic, prior to that, it was a packed event. But then we had to limit time frames in order to let people in because we could not allow too many people inside the building for safety reasons. So teachers have advised the students to get their tickets now because we may be maxed out. So advising students to get their tickets early rather than to get there and be frustrated because we're not able to let any additional people in. So Nicole, thank you very much for your time and for your report. And we will now go to the secretary's report. Patty is here with us, I believe. So I believe she will share her report. I know I put up her report earlier in error. So Patty, if you'd like to share that, or if you simply want to comment without sharing, you can do that as well.
This is Patty. Hi there. So for all of the people who are watching, just so you all know, I live very, very, very far from the main office. I live in Salinas, California. And we do have an outreach office here. And it is called the Central Coast Outreach Office. The staff person is Crystal, and we have just the one. And she's doing a great job. And the other second staff person lives in New York. And that staff person is responsible for a lot of support for the community here and for people at home. So Crystal is here locally and is responsible for many, many things. But I really wanted to highlight those two because they've really been visiting and making a concerted effort to visit the deaf programs at the local deaf schools. And it's been great. Crystal's been able to interact with students. And yes, it's a little bit about educating, but it's also about being that deaf role model for those students. And the ages range from elementary through high school. So it's nice that she's that role model for them. Also, every month there has been a game day. I think it's been 3 months now. The number of people in attendance varies anywhere from probably 10 to 25 people. But it's been good. It's been a decent turnout. It's been great to see people and for them to see each other. There was one deaf person that drove from Greenfield over an hour to get here because they were so wanting that time socially, feeling as isolated as they have lately. So that's been really nice. Deaf students have been coming, so far just one, and I think that one might pull in a few more deaf students. There are also high school ASL students who have been attending, so that's been nice to see. So we're having both those deaf students and the teachers kind of wrangling people in. So those are some updates and they have been really nice to see. And I think that's it for my report. Any questions?
Steve, thank you so much, Patty, for your first official secretary's report. Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you.
Could see you sign clearly. Keep it up. Great job. And next we have the treasurer's report, which is typically Anna's responsibility, but because of her family matter, what I will do is I will show you on the screen briefly the auditor's report, which was prior to the treasurer's report, but we do have an update that I will show you briefly. One moment. Okay, if you can see this on your screen, need to enlarge the font to make it a little more visually accessible. That better. I was previously serving as treasurer, and this, if you look at the top portion, that is the money, the revenue that comes in through grants from the Department of Social Services and various grants that we receive. Depending on the grants that we receive that expire and work through the financial or fiscal cycle. Okay, so you can all see that. Okay, we'll go ahead and remove that off the screen. All right. In summary, the funding from DSS, that cycle runs from July 1st through June 30th. That is the cycle for DSS. You may see monthly changes and the funds dwindle as we go through the year. That is the goal. The Department of Social Services wants to see that we are utilizing the funds that they are providing to us and that those monies are being well spent. Any monies remaining at the end of the year have to be returned. We have not typically returned money to the state. We do a good job in utilizing all the funds that are designated to us, and Paul Barnett was excellent in making sure that we use those funds, but he is no longer with us, God bless his soul. So it has definitely been a challenge with trying to replace Paul. It's been very difficult to find someone to fill his shoes. We now have Cindy in place, and we are hopeful that that is going to work well for us. When looking at that treasurer's report, we've got a good amount of funds left, and there are no glaring issues or concerns. Are there any questions from anyone?
Yeah, this is Michelle. Thank you. I just wanted to add a bit of clarification to the report. If you look at it, you will see right away there's still a lot of money to be collected. Yes, we have a lot to still collect in terms of invoices. But our new accountant, Maya, has a plan in place. So she and Cindy will be working on it, and Maya is fast and she's very knowledgeable, very skilled. I mean, we could not be more thrilled. She's already caught up on the EDD invoices, and she did so within a week. So this week she's going to start working on the DSS modification, and that was in January. And so we have to get that depleted by the end of the year. So she will get us caught up. And talking about Kim, our interpreter coordinator, she had taken over the invoicing, and she has been working on getting us caught up as well. So yes, as we said, there have been a lot of changes over the last 2 years, and it has been tough, and we are behind, and things were not completed or were not done right. But we are on it, we're fixing it, and we will get caught up. And I can honestly say right now, Paul was a wonderful person, but I also see Cindy as another Paul. I really do. She has the spirit of Paul and the heart. She absolutely has a heart for our community and our agency. So I have a good feeling about her, and I have faith and confidence that she will help us through this. So I also want to say that I'm very grateful that we had Paul for 30 years. I mean, you can't beat that. We also have people who have been willing to help us to get us through and just kind of keep us afloat until we now have been able to get Cindy in place. So we have to celebrate every blessing as we go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Michelle, for sharing and that additional comment. I think it's very important that we know where we stand and that we are in a stable position and that we've got Cindy on board to help. I believe Nicole wanted to make a comment.
Yes, I think that is one thing I want to say. That is a huge relief and a huge load off that we are now making progress there. I know we don't have a ton of time, but before the next board meeting, can we add a bit of description about how much money we have in the board funds? I think it would really help us to be able to see that more often. We now have a chairperson for fundraising, so I think it would be nice to have more information available. It's a bit challenging for me to read and find that information, so it would be really nice if that could be part of the information that's shared at the next board meeting. I don't know what people's thoughts are around that.
Absolutely, Nicole, and I do agree. Currently, our two fiscal funds, we have the cumulative board fund, which is not just the annual, but the cumulative over the years. The amount of money is $6,808.84. The second fund that we have for the board is the board private fund. That is a fiscal year balance, which is annual. So that can be generated from board members' dues or other monies that are added or used from that fund. And that is currently at $590. So we probably will need more because we have not, or probably will gain more because all of the dues have not come in. So that, as a brief update, lets you know where we're at.
Thank you.
And I think that completes our treasurer's report. Are there any questions? Okay, moving on. Thank you so much. The next item on the agenda is our executive director's report. And Michelle, the floor is yours. Are you okay, Nikki?
Yep. Thank you. Michelle's saying, well, since we were just talking about monies, I think I will just go ahead and open with budget updates. Jesse and I just submitted a grant for First Five of Fresno. We did that yesterday. And that grant will focus on training our staff, parents, educators, professionals, those working with deaf and hard of hearing individuals. So we want to have several professional trainers come and do presentations to the staff for parents and educators to really just improve our overall knowledge and skills and provide better service. Also, we'll provide interpreting for that training. So that's our goal. So we'll see if we get that grant. And also, just to say, more and more grants are starting to not include staff salaries. We're noticing a change in trend. So it will be a little bit tricky for us. They're really wanting the focus to be on operations. Or if there's a new program and somebody is hired, they don't want people to be laid off when the grant runs out. So they want to ensure that people are hired and can be kept. We don't like to have people's employment contingent on a grant. So just wanting you to say that we are noticing a pattern with grants nowadays are not wanting to cover staff salaries. So just wanting to put it out there. The Community Foundation of Monterey, CFMC, we just submitted a grant last week focusing on the YES program.
And
We also included we also asked for a self-advocacy training because we're noticing an increase in need for the youth and for college students and knowing how to advocate for themselves. And it's an awkward skill if you're not familiar with it. So we would like to hire somebody to come educate our youth, specifically our college students, on some self-advocacy skills. Also, one of my favorites is the Fansler Foundation. That's due on the 30th of this month. That one also focuses, and that's Fansler, Fansler, Fansler Foundation. That one will focus on YES and the ROC program, but also another youth-focused service like Deaf Teen Chat or Deaf Youth program where they gather. It's just encouraging the development of our youth. So again, that's due March 30th. We will be submitting for that. We've also applied for the Stevenson Philanthropy. This one is for the Salinas and Monterey area. It's run by high school students, which is cool. So donors give money to those high school students, and those in that program have to meet the various community nonprofit organizations, CBOs, and have conversations with them and screen the applicants. And then the students make the selection as to who they want to fund. So this is now the second round of interviews, which is good news. So we shall see if we get picked. We hope we do. The focus for that one is D-Well, the health and safety workshops for the Salinas and Monterey area. So moving on to staffing updates, as I mentioned, we will be having Cindy Amaya. We hired her as a part-time assistant in December. But Choo had to resign and left in January. And so Cindy took up the reins full-time as our accountant and just got to work. We have a lot of confidence in her. She's been doing a great job. Because of the audit, we are required to report any compliance issues, which there were none. There were no concerns at this time. And now looking to the agency updates. We hosted our Love and Literacy event on March 4th. And it was part of the Lead K program. So we had 21 families, 47 children, and 34 adults. That does not include staff volunteers. So it was a very good showing. It was very successful. It was a great event. We had amazingly wonderful feedback. We used the same theme from VDF. We used the Wizard of Oz theme. So we did an Oz scavenger hunt. We made crafts with colored paper, ripped it so that we could make a rainbow and yellow brick road, but really showing parents how to read stories to their kids. And it was a fun, super successful event. So there was food for the kids and the adults. But we were able to save a lot of money by using the same props and themed items from VDF for this program. So our goal now is to try to use props 2 or 3 times. So if we use it for a VDF, we can also use it for a holiday luncheon. We can use it for the Love and Literacy and then sell it. It'll help us save money by being able to reuse what we have purchased. As Nicole was talking about, she did mention Martha's Vineyard on the 25th. We do have 2 sessions. We have a morning and an afternoon. This is the 20th Martha's Vineyard, but will be the last because after this, we will change the event. And the reason is because the staff would really like to make the focus on deaf history through time. Setting up AGB and NAD's response and Gallaudet and all of those events. So we want to be able to see the successful milestones that we know to be our deaf history. So Martha's Vineyard will be part of that, but it will just be part of it. And so the focus will be on the history. So we want to say a huge thank you to Susan Coulter for hosting that event. This will be the 20th time that event is hosted. It is her baby and she has done a beautiful job with it. And it's been a great fundraiser. And so the discussion is that it is time to add a bit to the community. The students need to learn more about deaf history. We feel it's time. Yes, Martha's Vineyard is part of that, but we want them to learn more as well. The Deaf Women's Conference is coming up. That will be June 3rd, 1 to 4:30 p.m. PKT, Praise Coda Time, is hosting an event. And so that's why ours is set for the afternoon. That event is in the morning. And once that is done, we will switch out for the women's conference. And so for lunch, it will be Sammy's Tacos. It was the same truck that was there for VDF. So they'll be in our parking lot. Folks can go up to the truck and order what they want. The price will be separate. the tickets for the event cover the presenter, the dancing, the crafts, etc. Those are $10. And then lunch is on our own. So we each pay for our own lunch. So the presenter will be Alexandra Leva. She's an interpreter and a dance instructor. And she will be talking about how to stay inspired, reignite our passion for life. We don't want to lose our passion. And so she's very engaging in how to spark and find that joy again. And so one way is through food, of course, and the other way is through dancing. So I'm hoping that you all will join us for a very fun event. And that's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Great, condensed but yet very informational report, and so grateful to see that Cindy is taking the reins and going to get our finances in order. Very happy to hear that. And also looking forward to the Martha's Vineyard event. We worked with a great team of people, and hopefully we can recruit individuals to come to our last event.
Yes, teachers, families, kids, everybody come.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Michelle. Next on our agenda will be Jessica, who I believe will be sharing about fundraising. Jessica, would you like to take the floor? Nikki, do you want me to do this?
If you, either one.
Can you put the report up? Or no, do you have it?
Looking.
Steve Longo saying, okay, give me just a moment.
And I'd like to add that Christian did give me a lot of the ideas. So I know his name isn't on the report, so.
Okay,
Just
Nicole,
one
you
moment.
had your hand up. Okay, Steve's looking for the fundraising report. I just wanted to say, I'm wondering if, I don't know if it got sent to the interpreting department. So my apologies about that.
Just
I think
It
for
did.
now,
It was
you
sent.
can just
I
keep
sent it.
going. And so you can just speak through your report if that's okay.
Okay. I did send it to the interpreting and secretary.
Steve Longo saying, yeah, if you just want to talk through it,
Okay.
we can do that.
Okay,
for
so
tonight.
I'll just read what I wrote then. And then is there any way we can put Christian on spotlight too, please?
So Alex will add Christian. Okay.
Okay, so this is on behalf of Christian and I. We've been we met with Michelle, I guess, via email, and we discussed, and then through text. All right, so I thank you for everybody for letting me be here. I'm excited. I've been here over 3 years on the board, so it's nice to be able to have a report and share. So thank you. All right, so hello everyone. We are excited to think of new ways for us all to raise money for the deaf and hard of hearing. I've worked with many nonprofits, too many to name, and holding fun team events are the best ways to raise money while raising awareness about our nonprofit organization. I thought about all the hours I spent volunteering. I told Nicole I'm a professional nonprofit volunteer. And at the end of the fundraiser research, I realized happy volunteers means a successful event, and a successful event means money for our nonprofit. Reliable volunteers are hard to come by. So focusing on how to help the person volunteering all while utilizing their efforts and time is the best win-win for us at DHHSC. There are many people out there who want to get involved with our nonprofit, but they are unsure of whether they need to know ASL or not, or if they need to be a family member of a deaf person. So this can cause an obstacle in finding people to volunteer for our events. Educating the public about what it entails when it comes to being a volunteer will dispel a lot of myths when it comes to volunteering at deaf events. Many of the events held by nonprofits exist because of volunteers. So how can we be lucrative as a nonprofit to those who are reliable and ready to support DHHSC? First, we need to make sure our volunteers know that they matter. I feel, and this is from experience from over 20 years of volunteering, that all volunteers need to be fed. So offering a meal coupon in exchange for a full day of volunteering, like 6 hours, should be a standard when volunteering with DHHSC. That would be a good way, because then people can say, oh yeah, when you volunteer, they feed you. Oh, okay, that's good. So then they know that they have an incentive. And I know it seems silly, but it is a good incentive. Also, one of the best parts about being involved with events is receiving a t-shirt to show off later for friends, talking about the good memories of the event. When I volunteered with Over the Edge in 2018, they fed us all day, kept us hydrated, and gave us nice t-shirts that showed that we were part of a team. That year, the nonprofit, which I helped with Over the Edge, raised over $75,000. Our volunteers will be happy to know that we care about their needs as people, and it'll get more people to want to dedicate their time to our nonprofit. Christian, Michelle, and I talked about ways to fundraise, and here are the ideas we talked about. And I also asked for my kids' opinion, because I feel like we need to do more kids events. And so they have given some of their ideas as well. So I said, oh wait, hold on. Let me pull up my other notes because some of it was erased here. Hold on. Okay. We thought about a deaf and hard of hearing 5K. So that would be, walking and running. Merchandise such as t-shirts and stickers with our logo on it. We can hire deaf artists to teach art classes. A talent show. My kids did a Pokemon tournament, and actually I'm becoming friends with a local comic card store, which is off Bullard, right down the street from you guys. So we were thinking of asking them to be a sponsor for a Pokemon tournament. Yard sale, asking people from the community to be vendors at a deaf craft fair. And then creating a TikTok account, going live and receiving gifts, money from viewers while posting inspiring videos of deaf artists, painting, deaf educators, and videos of how to sign. So just a short video, so this month is March, so we could have taught words green, rainbow, St. Patrick's Day, and we can even get the kids involved who are part of the rock program. We'd get the permission, of course, from the parents. I would volunteer my 3 kids. They can make videos and show the world, cute kids always get attention. This is a no cost, easy way to grow our nonprofit while making money. TikTok is actually a really good way for nonprofits to make funds, because you don't have to pay anything. And all you have to do is have 1,000 followers and you go live, and people will give you money for being live. And there is a huge following of deaf people on TikTok. And I have a lot of friends who are deaf on TikTok, and we communicate with each other very easily through that platform. I think Steve is actually my friend on TikTok. Also, I've done this with the Visalia Latino Rotary. We hired a professional portrait photographer, and I was able to pick women who are influential in Tulare County, and we had portraits taken of them. So I was thinking that we could publish a book and have portraits taken of influential deaf community members. So the people on the board, of course, and then whoever, the people who are involved in the Deaf Women's Conference and Martha's Vineyard, we would make a, what's it called? Not a table book. Christian, what's it called?
Calendar? No.
No, not a calendar, like the books that you have on your table at home. So it's just portraits and
Oh,
I told Nicole about it earlier. I forgot. Anyways,
I can't
so it'll
remember.
be a book of portraits, and we would be able to sell it at Deaf and Hard of Hearing Service Center, and whenever we're out and
lookbook?
about. What is it?
Lookbook?
Like a lookbook, yeah, like a So we can also, these are the other ideas I said too. We could create a recipe book. So we'd all submit recipes and have a recipe book, a poem book, nonfiction stories. So I could like write stories about being a mom, having kids who are hearing loss, and then everyone else has their perspective. Nonfiction stories. Oh, a table book. That's what it's called, a table book. And we actually have an event coming up for Dia de los Niños, Day of the Child. It's April 19th. It's been in the Tulare County area for over 20 years. I used to participate it when I was little. I would dance. So it draws a lot of various different people from backgrounds, and I would be really honored if we could have a booth there. They don't charge for nonprofits, but it's only educational only. And since we're going to be out there though for, I think it's 4 hours, I did the math and I figured out, and if you can share my screen, can I share my screen or no? How do I do that? I wanted to share the documents. Is there a way I can do that or no? How do I do that? Christian, how do I do that?
There should be a share button at the bottom. If you must
This
have
is
your
shared.
Mhm.
It said only hosts can share in this meeting. Can you guys
then never
change
mind.
that? Can you change it so I can share? Because I just want to share the information because.
Alex said, yeah, just a second.
Okay. And the reason I want you to share this is because this will require funds to be provided to the fundraising, I guess, department. It says I can't share still, but
So we'll ask Alex Steve Longo, can we
or I can just
give her
verbally.
co-host rights so that way she can share?
Try sharing again, Jessica.
Okay, here we go.
Alex saying you both should be able to now, but as long as it's working for you.
Okay, so can you see my screen or no?
We see Zoom.
Okay, I'm gonna go to my email now. Okay, can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the event that we want to have a booth at.
Hang on 1 second. Let them look at it for just a second. Okay. Then we can stop sharing and they can see better.
Okay, and so this is the information about. So the reason I showed you that was there's fees, right? It's free. It's free if you're a nonprofit just educating. You can't sell anything. So we could have free face painting and we can have people donate, all right? But I also thought about how we could purchase, and I'm going to share my screen again. We can purchase a license to be food vendors. And that would be the best way for us to make money a lot quicker. I'm going to share the screen again. Hold on. So right here, you can see.
Hang on 1 second, Jessica. Let them see it real quick. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so 50, 106. And that's what we'd be doing at the event. So it would cost us $106 to get a food vendor license, $106. And then $75 would be to register for the event to sell. So 75 plus 106, that's $181. But if we bought 10 cases of waters, right? And that's 24 bottles of water in each, and sold them for each $2, we'd make $405 back. So we wouldn't lose any money. We would actually have a license to use for 1 full year. And my goal is to attend 1 event a month, so 12 events, and set up the same way, face painting and waters, that's it. $2 for waters, donations for face painting. And that way we could make money. So we'd be ahead. We'd have to invest it first, the 75 and the 106. But then after that, it would just, we wouldn't have to pay the 106 every time. We'd have the license for 1 full year. And I could go to any event in Visalia and set up the booth. And for a 1 case of water at Winco, it's $4. So we'd make back the profit of 1 case by selling 2 bottles of water. So that's what I wanted to propose to the board, to give us the funds so I can go to City of Visalia. We have to submit our application for this event by April 7th. So I need to go this week and get the application or get the license for the food vendor, and then pay for our spot for the Tulare County League event. And then that's all. And then I would need the money again for the tattoos. That's what I was showing you. It had tattoos. I can show you again. And this is what I've used in the past. I used to do face tattoos. It's just a stencil and you just put some paint and glitter. Anyone can do it. So it doesn't matter if I'm not there, someone else can do it. And my kids love it. I always donate like $5 a kid when they do it. So that's an easy way to make money. And I'm going to show you the screen one more time. So I'm asking to have, well, I think it will be after we get all the tattoo stencils, the fee for the license, the water, and then the fee to pay for the event. We would need about $250, but you will receive that $250 back after the event and then some. I'm looking to get a profit about $405 from the water that day. And if Christian wants to say anything else, that's all I have to say.
I don't have anything to add, but thank you.
I think we will need to have a meeting about this. And so I want to thank you for working on all of that and putting that together for us, but we will talk about that during an ad hoc meeting. Nicole, what do you think?
Thank you for your presentation, Jessica. I really do appreciate that. I want to clarify, this is in Visalia. I had clarified that with Jessica. I'm willing to try and show up, and Christian is also willing to do the same. The reason being, this meeting is in March, but we can talk about it after this meeting. We can have a group meet and talk about it because the application is due on the 7th of April. So, excuse me, thank you for your time and energy. And It's now 7:30. I don't know if there's any final comments. Again, I'm sorry I didn't include you this time, but I will next time, Christian. And then we can move forward and see whether or not we want to approve this or not for the next meeting.
This is Steve. All right, so thank you. Now we're looking at the agenda. We're moving on to our employee spotlights, and both of those employees are here. So Candace is here. Hi there. And Candace is going to talk about the ROC program. I think we have about 10 minutes.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, and appreciate your allowing me to join this Zoom meeting. And I want to talk with you tonight a little bit about ROC. ROC is reach out and contact with our kids. Basically, this is a program for family whose children are deaf or hard of hearing and unsure as to how to communicate with those children. So we do home visits. We teach sign language. We educate how interpreters work so that their children can connect with others through sign language. Oftentimes, deaf children feel out of the loop. That's a very common feeling of being disconnected, and we want them to feel connected to their families and to others, which is why the program is established. We also provide additional resources, information about hearing aids, if parents need advocacy for IEP meetings, whatever it is that the parents are looking for, we try and provide that information and support for them. That service is provided free of charge. There is no cost. And families oftentimes will ask questions, and then we will explain. And when they learn that it is free, they become very emotional because there are not many people out there, if anyone, providing these services, particularly free of charge. And we're wanting them to connect with their children and the children to connect with them. This serves the Fresno County area. We have a total of 23 ROC families currently. And we not only focus on the family, but we focus on clients and helping clients connect with others in the community. Teaching ASL classes, those are other services that we provide through the ROC program. And that's basically what I've done. I have a few stories about my experience with ROC over the years, things that I have seen. It's been very impactful when you watch children's language ability thrive. It's amazing when you see parents become motivated and want to be involved with their children. It's amazing. Oftentimes, fathers take a hands-off approach. They're busy working. They're not really engaged, but it's great to see fathers get engaged with their families. We draw them out and get them engaged, help them to connect with their kids. It's so easy for adults who are hearing to connect with hearing children. But when their children are deaf, there's a challenge, and it's a great thing to watch. The other thing that has been fun to watch is to watch parents' curiosity. There are no stupid questions. We allow them to ask whatever they'd like to ask. And once they begin, it goes into overload. I sometimes have to slow them down one question at a time, but it's wonderful to see their curiosity and not be afraid to ask those questions. We're not going to bite. They can ask whatever they want. And there's a sense of comfort, and that fear resolves. When DHHSC hosts events, We share that information with our families so that they can come and be a part. Sometimes they worry about whether or not they will fit in. They feel isolated. More often than not, there's mixed feelings. But when they come to an event and see other parents with deaf children, that melts the ice, if you will, and that allows them to connect with others that are like them. And that's pretty much what I have to share for you tonight.
Awesome. This is Steve. I have a question for you.
Sure.
Is this a service that's year-round or only offered during certain parts of the year?
Yes, I work part-time. I work from 3 to 7, and I work weekends as well. So working from 3 to 7, and depending on the family schedules, typically when I receive a call, I'll get a name, find out the ages of the children, the names of the children, contact number, and then I'll call, set up a date and time that the family is available. Once that's set, then note their address, make the home visit, and I initially complete an intake form, go through all the documents, and then from there begin teaching and interacting with the families. Most of my ROC families I meet with every 2 weeks. Again, it is adjusted to accommodate the family schedules. I have 1 on Sunday, 2 on Saturday, so I basically work late afternoons and weekends.
Awesome. And so I know Visalia, they have the United Way educating parents of deaf children. Maybe there's some way to partner with the efforts that they're doing in Visalia and really share the same information in both places. Because like you were saying, oftentimes parents who are not deaf feel a bit hesitant, and it's good to really get them out there. And I love that you're going to their home and introducing yourself and working with the kids and all of that. It's a way to warm them up and maybe break the ice a bit. So I think
Can I say something?
we can, I know Nicole and Jessica had gone one time and done a presentation with the United Way, and they were just blown away by the information and how we talked about our services, and they donated to DHHSC. And so I think that's an important impact for families too, that we work with them and really expand their network. You know, you said you have 23 families, right? So, and there are more out there that just may not even know that this is an option, and we might not even know that they are out there.
Jessica.
I just want to speak on behalf as a parent who utilized the ROC services. My son was 3 weeks old when Nicole contacted me and told me about Deaf and Hard of Hearing Service Center. And I would have never, ever even knew about Deaf and Hard of Hearing Service Center or ROC if it wasn't for Nicole. So yay for Nicole. I don't want to get emotional, but you're right about the dads not being involved. It's really hard. When you are a parent of a child with special needs, you have a 60% chance higher of getting divorced, which is terrible because you already have bad odds against you. And unfortunately, that's what happened with my husband and I towards the end. We ended up separating. It was a lot of stress, a lot. And that's the sad truth. So it's nice to have a community that supports and educates, because if I didn't have the support of Deaf and Hard of Hearing Service Center, I honestly don't think I'd be here today. I was bullied a lot by my family. Probably 2 people in my family know sign language. And the rest of my family told me that the kids were going to grow out of it and that they need to be saved, and that it was my fault. So to have the ROC there and teach me and educate me, I feel empowered, and I'm not angry no more. Hey, you know what? I'm learning sign language for my kids. And now my kids are older, and my son Eli's 10. And 2 months ago, he told me, "Oh my goodness, Mom, I do need to know sign language. Oh my goodness, Mom, I need to learn it." He knows a lot, right? But he feels like he needs to know more because he got sick and couldn't wear his hearing aids for about 3 days. And he goes, "Oh, I can't communicate with you." So guess what he started doing? Signing. And I was signing to him, and he hugged me. And it was like a light bulb. And it made me realize, wow, for 10 years, I've been learning a language and wondering, why am I learning this? I mean, yes, I'm communicating with you guys, and Nicole and I, we see each other and our friendship's grown. And when I'm out, I actually did my first ASL optometrist appointment. They had me translate the whole appointment for a deaf patient. And that was so nice because the deaf patient told me, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here. I feel way better." So it's helped me open up many doors doing the ROC program. So you think the ROC program, just communicating with your kids, and it's not that. You're empowering people around you. And I'm so happy that 10 years later, the light bulb went off for Eli. And my daughter, Ada, she loves sign language. My other son, Ben, he loves sign language. And we wouldn't have been able to do what we're doing today without the ROC program. So if you're a parent listening to this and you're not involved with the ROC program, sign up tomorrow. Do this for yourself and your kids. And you may not see the benefits today or tomorrow, but it will pay off.
Jessica, this is Steve. Candy, you. And I completely agree with Jessica, most definitely. I have told the parents, you're never too old to learn. The children are never too old. From the time they're young till the time they're older, it's never too late. And I think when I share that with them, that gives them something to think about. And I am available, and they know where to reach us, and they know how to contact us when they're ready and eager to learn. And just looking at the children's and their response when parents sign, and there's a sense of pride that's wonderful. It's amazing, and it's a connection that's powerful. I wish I knew about this years ago. I wish I knew. I know that my mother tried her best, but if we would have had the ROC program, oh my goodness, I think I would have experienced much greater family involvement. It's never too late to learn.
Yes.
And,
Okay. Steve Longo saying Nicole had a question. I'll take Nicole, Pam. Nicole saying, thank you so much for sharing your experience. And Jessica, I know that it's not been easy for you. So thank you also for sharing that. It's touching. Thank you, Candace, for joining the meeting. I know we have one more employee spotlight. We want to keep to the time, but I did have one question. What can the board do to support the program? And do you see any way that we can provide support to you? Thank you again for coming. Michelle saying referral, referral, referral.
yeah, if you know anyone, if you know any families who need our services, need to learn how to sign, to connect with their kids, refer them to us. There's still many out there that don't even know our program exists. So referrals are great.
This is Nicole.
Nicole.
So with the ROC program, again, it's just Fresno County, right?
And Michelle is saying, no, 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 no.
The question is then what areas?
Michelle. To clarify, no, we offer ROC in all 4 counties. Started in Visalia. It started from
Bank of the Sierra.
Bank of Sierra. And that was the first funding that we received, and that was successful. And then we moved to Fresno and then reached out to Merced and Salinas. So all 4 offices provide, but Candace is one person and she has 23 families. And there are others that have the program, but we're very proud of Candace and her effort, and so grateful that she's come back and the wonderful families that she serves. It's an amazing program. Thank you.
Awesome. This is Steve Longo. Okay. It's now 7:46. We're running out of time, so we're going to turn it over to our next employee spotlight to talk about their program. Give me just a moment. I'll take Jolene, Pam. You've been going.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Jolene is going to talk about the Praise Coda program. And expand a little bit more. So welcome, Jolene.
Hi there. Just to make sure my name is spelled correctly, it's Joelene, Jolene. We can fix that later. It's okay. So I'm really excited to talk about Praise Codas, Praise Coda time, so PKT. It's for parents of deaf and hard of hearing children, ages 0 to 5. Excuse me, this is for deaf parents that have kids ages 0 to 5. This is now our 3rd year. The first year was pretty rough, but we worked really hard on recruiting. And then, it was also during COVID. So much of it was done through Zoom and virtually for that first year. Then the second year, we were able to have face-to-face interactions, and they were so happy to be back. And so we have them here once a month, sometimes twice a month. But we've been very fortunate that we've received another year of funding. So this will be the last year. It will be done in June, unfortunately. But it has been great. I've really enjoyed working with deaf and hard of hearing parents. I'm able to see their growth and able to see the impact and what they're learning. And it could be topics related to what healthy cooking looks like. And we talk about not using junk food and budget your money to be able to save it. For example, talking about trail mix. You can make your own. And at the same time, the kids can be involved in the making of the food. And then the parents and the kids are working together and they develop a better communication system between them. So parents can teach the kids because the kids are not deaf. Some kids are deaf, but either way, it's still teaching them language. It's building that communication between the parents and the kids. You'll see that first year, and you look at the folks now in their 3rd year, they have come such a long way and their relationships have drastically improved. And it's just so nice to see that literacy, that love and literacy program. I sadly was sick with COVID. I could not attend. I was super sad that I couldn't go. But I heard so much feedback from my families that are involved in this Praise Codas time. They talked about how it was just an amazing time. They had so much fun. And so the reading tips was really helpful. Share Reading Program, SRP, is a program from Gallaudet University that we use to teach them. And we teach parents how to read stories to their children in sign language. And it's a key part of development. And so they really appreciated learning that. And we work with parents and teaching them just things that they can do better so they can be a better role model for their kids. It's been great. The feedback has been very, very positive. And I believe the next session will be on Zoom next Tuesday. For those who were not able to attend the live event, or they've gone to the live event and want to go to the Zoom event as well. But we're going to be talking about, again, reading tips and bring forth what we shared at the last event. So it'll be a nice chance for them to connect and network and support each other. And we'll talk about reading tips. And the Zoom session will be 1 hour. After that, in April, we will have CODA kids teaching parents how to not use their kids for interpreting. As an example, at school, exposing the parents, hey, when you go to the school, don't just say, hey, what is the teacher saying? Hey, what is the staff person at school saying? Parents have to learn to say, hey, I need an interpreter. And if they ask to use the kids, they need to learn how to explain and advocate for themselves that they want an interpreter. And I know that there are some schools, one, for example, is Norseman Elementary, already has interpreters on site. So it just, again, encouraging parents to make use of those resources and not rely on the CODA kids. Let them enjoy their childhood and be kids. We want to value that and really treasure that time. And so those are some of the things that we talk about. In May, the topic will be a fun activity for them. Maybe you've seen a TV show called The Parent Test. Oh my gosh. It's so good. But taking that idea and creating a challenge. And so my other teammate, Angelica Medina, Mendoza, and Vivian Reyes, those are my teammates. The three of us like to kind of brainstorm and give ideas and create challenges for the parents and let the kids do something that the parents knowingly don't like, and they have to, well, I'll just say, if you could watch that show, The Parent Test, it'll all make sense. It's a panel of parents with varying perspectives on parenting. And the point is, there's no wrong answer. But there's like the new age parenting style, there's a traditional parenting style, the disciplinarian, the homeschool, the helicopter parents, meaning the ones who just don't ever leave their kid's side. So all of those parenting styles, as a panel, they talk about their perspectives. And I would like to replicate that. And I want to be able to share that with the deaf parents and really talk through some of those parenting styles. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Is this okay? Is this not okay? But they can learn from each other. And then the CODA kids can also learn from each other. So I want to add that perspective for them too. I want to challenge the parents and the parents to challenge the kids. I just think it would be a really nice way to have a greater impact on them. And June, we'll have like a kind of family reunion style, get together and celebrate and recognize all of those folks who have attended for so long. We'll have pictures shared, and the program will close June 30th, but we want to keep it going in terms of that connection and the parents getting together with each other. I don't want to see that go away. I really want to keep that engagement. And there was one parent who said they wanted to get a walking group together. Absolutely, do it. And so I really wanted to empower them to do something if they feel inspired to do it. You know, we'll be here, we'll be there to support. We'll throw in ideas. will join in the fun. So we have about 15 families involved in the program currently. It's been nice to see that grow. We have kids that are 0 to 5, and those who are, 5 and 6 years old and maybe aged out a little bit, they still stick around, and because their siblings are there, so they're still involved. But I look forward to seeing that continue.
Wonderful. So great. We have the Rock program, we have the Coda Kids program, and the one focuses on hearing parents with deaf kids. The Coda program focuses on hearing parents who have deaf kids. So or the opposite, excuse me, deaf parents with hearing children. So it's nearly 8 o'clock. We've got 4 minutes left. So try and wrap up what is left on our agenda. Any questions, Nicole?
Yeah, that program sounds really neat. And it sounds like it has a lot to offer, and I'm so sad that the funding is ending. Do we know why? And is there any way to get an extension? And also, thank you for coming to the meeting. I know you had to adjust your schedule.
Jolene, if you want to explain why it is ending.
Yeah, the grant has come to an end. So
Is there another grant that we can reapply for?
I'm not sure how to answer that. I'm not the one responsible for
Michelle?
the grants. So maybe Michelle can speak to that a little bit better. I know that there has been a grant submitted, or we're working on that, the education and training grant.
And Michelle is saying yes, to add to Jolene's comment, the one I was just answering. Remember when I talked about First 5 Fresno, there's always a new focus, training for staff and parents. So yes, that is still something we want to continue. Jolene is doing a phenomenal job with these families, and we're continually brainstorming ways to partner with DHHSC, but also with the ROC program, including deaf parents of hearing kids, not just hearing parents, but deaf and hard of hearing children. So we have the PKT and the ROC program, and it's a great way to work collaboratively, make cross referrals, and meet the needs. And Jolene's been a fabulous connector and representative for that program.
Steve Longo saying great. We are now at the point in our agenda for general announcements. Any, Alex?
One moment.
From the public?
Checking the feed and the messages, I do not see anything. No emails from the general community at large. Sorry.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. It'll help us get done faster. No problem. We don't have any old business. New business. We have like 1 minute left. It's already 8 o'clock. Okay. Anything from anybody, Nicole?
Okay. Just so everyone is aware, thank you to both of our voice interpreters. Thank you for our deaf interpreters. Thank you for your reports. Thank you to Michelle. Thank you to Alex. Everyone, in order to make this meeting happen, you are greatly appreciated. Thank you and have a great night.
This is Steve Longo. Yeah, I wasn't done with new business, but that's awesome. Thank you, Nicole. We need a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do we have a motion on the floor? Patty?
I move that we adjourn our meeting.
All right. Any opposed to adjourning the meeting? No? Seeing none? All right. Or excuse me, to close new business. My apologies. Are there any general board comments quickly? I just want to make sure we're watching the DHHSC website because there will be more announcements there. I think that's it. So we will now have a call to adjourn the meeting.
Sorry.
So
Jamie
Jamie
has moved that we adjourn our meeting. That's first. Do we have a second?
Mrs.
Patty
Patty,
says,
I
I
second.
second.
All right, any opposed to the motion on the floor? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned at 8:01 p.m. 6:01